The front door stood slightly open, a thin line of moonlight cutting through the gap like a blade. My keys slipped from my grip and hit the hardwood with a sharp clatter, the sound vanishing beneath the thunder in my chest. I froze in the foyer, our foyer, the home we built together over 15 years. The creaky oak staircase, the kitchen table where laughter once echoed over burnt casseroles. But tonight, the air was wrong. Heavy, strange. It carried a scent I didn't know, sharp like citrus and leather. Nothing like Sarah's usual lavender. Then I heard it, a low laugh from upstairs, not hers, followed by her voice, soft, intimate, in a tone that hadn't been mine in months. I took the stairs one by one, each step betraying the denial I'd been living in. My chest ached, not from anger yet, but from a desperate, fragile hope that I was wrong. Maybe it was the TV, maybe a friend. My mind grasped at excuses, each weaker than the last. The bedroom door was cracked open. Through that narrow slit, I saw them. Sarah, my wife, her hair spilling across a stranger's shoulder, his hands tracing the curve of her back. My world tilted. The edges of reality smeared like a fading photograph. I didn't shout. I didn't storm in. I just stood there, a ghost in my own home, watching the woman I loved rewrite our life without me. 15 years. We'd met in a dive bar, her spilling cheap wine on my shoes, laughing until she snorted. I proposed on a rainy pier, her shivering under my coat as she said yes. We'd fought. Over money, my late nights at the firm, her endless art projects cluttering the garage. But somehow, we always found our way back. Until now, the signs had been there, hadn't they? Her long nights at the gallery. The glow of her phone at 2 in the morning. The growing distance, as if she were circling the sun I could no longer see. I'd told myself it was stress, her new exhibit, anything but this. I stepped back, breath shallow, and walked out. The night air bit at my skin as I drove without direction. City lights smeared into streaks of color through the windshield. I wanted to hate her, to let fury burn through the ache, but all I felt was hollow grief, like something inside me had been scooped clean. I ended up in a motel parking lot, the neon sign flickering in sync with my thoughts. Why hadn't she told me? Was I not enough? Had I ever been? The questions clawed and tore, leaving nothing but raw emptiness behind. I didn't sleep. I just stared at the cracked ceiling, replaying every moment I'd missed, every lie I'd swallowed. When morning came, gray and heavy, I knew I couldn't go back. Not yet. I called my brother Mark and told him everything in a voice that didn't sound like mine. "Just leave, Tom," he said, his tone sharp, sure, the kind of clarity I didn't have. "You don't owe her an explanation." So I did. I vanished, quit my job with a single email, packed a bag, and drove north until the city faded into memory. I found a cabin in Maine, buried in pine trees that whisper when the wind passed through. Their needles blanketed the earth like a quiet warning. Tread carefully. I told no one where I was, not even Mark. My phone stayed off. Sarah's missed calls stacked up like unpaid debts. Days blurred into weeks. I picked up odd jobs, chopping wood, repairing boats, my hands roughening while my heart refused to harden. At night, I'd lie awake picturing her with him. Was he funnier? Kinder? Did he make her laugh the way I once did? I wrote her letters I never sent, pages filled with anger, love, and questions I couldn't ask. I hated her for betraying me, hated myself for still loving her. The cabin swallowed my silence. The lake outside reflected a stranger's face, gaunt, bearded, haunted. 2 years passed like a fever I couldn't remember waking from. Somehow, I built a fragile kind of peace, one that didn't flinch at her name anymore. Then one October evening, a knock broke that silence apart. When I opened the door, there she was. Sarah. She stood in the fading light, her coat dusted with pine needles, her eyes rimmed red. My heart lurched, a traitor to everything I'd rebuilt. "Tom," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I found you." I didn't invite her in, but I didn't close the door either. She stepped inside, the cabin suddenly too small, her presence filling every inch like smoke. "I'm so sorry," she said, her voice shaking. "I was lost, Tom. I didn't know how to tell you I was drowning. She told me about the man, Evan, a curator from her gallery. It wasn't love, she insisted. Just a brief escape from the weight of her own failures. Her art stalling, her confidence slipping. She said she'd ended it weeks after I left, when she realized I was gone for good. Why now? I asked, my voice rough, sandpaper by time. Her hands twisted together, her wedding ring still glinting on her finger. Because I can't live with what I did to you, she said. I need you to know I'm not that person anymore. Then she pulled a folded letter from her pocket. The paper worn thin. My handwriting. One of the letters I'd written and never sent. Somehow found in the trash. I read this, she said through tears. You still love me, even after everything. I don't deserve it, but I had to try. I wanted to scream, to tell her it was too late, that she'd destroyed us. But her eyes, they held something I hadn't seen in years. A raw, unguarded truth. She wasn't the villain I'd painted her as. And I wasn't the saint I'd imagined. We'd both broken things in quieter ways long before Evan existed. I'd buried myself in work, ignored her silences, convinced love could run on autopilot. The realization was a slow bleed, worse than the betrayal itself. Stay, I said finally, the word heavy, uncertain. Not forgiveness. Not yet, but a small crack in the wall I'd built. She nodded, her sob catching in her throat. We sat by the fire, the silence thick, with all the words we couldn't say. The future lay ahead, fogged, fragile, something we might rebuild or let go. Outside, the wind pressed through the trees, the pines bending but not breaking. And I wondered if we could do the same. 2 years ago, I'd vanished to escape her betrayal. Now she'd found me, and I realized the true betrayal wasn't hers alone. It was how we'd both let love erode long before that night. The twist wasn't her affair or her return. It was a mirror she held up, showing how we both built our own undoing. And maybe, just maybe, we could still learn how to rebuild.